Old school versus new school. The way that clients buy has completely changed, and what works today in sales is very different from what used to work. In this video, we'll take you through the main differences between what the strongest salespeople today are doing compared to the people who used to be overperforming. Relationship versus results. The old school sales approach used to rely on growing a relationship with the individual you were selling to, building rapport, getting on with them, and hoping that was enough to drive the decision through. And it used to work because there were fewer decision makers. But now, with more decision makers than ever, the need for justification and proof that this is going to deliver results is more important than ever before. Today's salesperson, the new school salesperson, realizes this. And they focus on understanding the results the client needs to drive in their business. And they tailor everything they do in that conversation and their recommendation to make sure that they are going to achieve this. This allows the client to be able to believe in the solution and answer the questions of those stakeholders. By focusing on the results the client needs, the salesperson makes it easier for everyone to buy and to sell the solution. Wings it versus prepares. The old school salesperson used to be able to get away with picking up the phone or going into a meeting and asking the same questions and having a similar conversation with every single client. But today, clients are busier than ever before. They do more research than ever before. They've got less time and less propensity to answer the phone and have conversations with salespeople. Today's salespeople need to be more prepared. Today's salesperson needs to prove their value to get the meeting, and they need to add real value in that conversation. Today's salesperson is putting more effort in before to connect with the client and make a difference to that client through the conversation itself. Diagnosis versus true understanding. The old school salesperson would often be trained and taught to go in and diagnose needs, ask the client what they need to achieve, and often spend a fair bit of time getting to that point. However, for a client today, that is literally all they think about. Their goals, their results that they need to achieve. And so by spending a long time diagnosing needs, the salesperson is adding no value to the client, nothing they didn't already know. Clients want to find out their real needs. They want to understand, is that what is really going to solve their problem? Are they thinking in the right way? And the strongest salespeople are not just diagnosing, but they're asking why. They're understanding exactly what the client needs to solve their problems, and then they're supplying the solution that's going to work. Options versus justified recommendations. The old school sales approach used to often be to provide as many options as possible to clients. And once upon a time, this worked okay, because clients didn't have to justify everything that they did and that it's going to work. Today, all clients need is a solution that's going to work and drive the best results. And they want to know what your recommendation is to achieve those. The salesperson has been working with similar people like them in similar industries and companies. And so they want to know what works and what doesn't. And they want to know why, because this is going to allow them to push that through their business. The strongest salespeople today, the new school of salesperson, is focusing on creating recommendations which are justified, not just supplying options to the client. Closing versus collaboration. The old school approach was often to close as hard and put as much pressure on a client as possible to get a deal closed. Today, however, there's more decision makers than ever, and so just using closing tricks to try and get someone to say yes now isn't necessarily going to make it easier for them to convince the other decision makers in the stakeholder chain. What does work today is getting your client fully bought into wanting to work with you, but then collaborating with them to help them to understand and navigate that decision-making process, and collaborating with them to make that as easy as possible. The new school of salesperson doesn't just close, they collaborate to make it easy for the client to buy.